Welcome back to the channel, my brothers from different mothers. That's what you are, my brothers. This is the Brotherhood of Men and I'm Andy R. Today I want to talk to you, my brothers, about a truly great American comedian, sadly no longer with us. You know who I'm talking about because you've seen the thumbnail. I'm talking about Patrice O'Neal. Now, he really was a great comedian. And sadly, he's no longer with us. He died, I believe, only a few days before his 42nd birthday in 2011. So he's been dead now for 10 years. And he was truly a loss to comedy because he was the type of comedian who wasn't afraid to call out BS. He was an observational humour type comedian who was the type who would point out something that we could all associate with and go, oh yeah, that kind of thing's happened to me. You know, one of those, have you ever had this happen to you? And then make it a fantastically hilarious story about that incident. But he asked a question of his audience because by that time he was bringing in huge audiences, filling out theatre venues and auditoriums. And he asked probably a few thousand people in the theatre he was doing. And you can watch this clip on YouTube, and I suggest you do. It's very, very good, and he was a great comedian. But he wasn't afraid of calling out female double standards. And this is the question he asked to his audience. And it, like I say, it was a huge audience. They're all rolling around laughing something he previously said. And he turned to the audience and he said, I've got a question for you. He says, well, actually, it's a question for you women out there. Now, I'm not going to do the delivery, the justice he did, because he was a master of his craft. And unfortunately, I'm just a guy stood in front of this camera telling you this story. So you're not going to get the laughter, you're not going to get the atmosphere. Go and watch Patrice O'Neal. Go and watch his specials and you'll understand just how great a comedian he was. So he said, I've got a question for you women out there. Imagine you lost your coochie. What would you do to please your man? That was his question. And then he said, well, no, let's imagine you were in some horrendous train crash and they said, oh, we can't sell the coochie, and, you know, they took the coochie off and you've no longer got your coochie. He said, what are you going to do to please your man, to keep him around? Now, let's say you've got about 2 months leeway because, you know, he doesn't want to look like an absolute monster by going and leaving you when it's like, well, you just lost a coochie, you know, I'd look like the bad guy in this. No, I've got to stay around. So you've got about 2 months. What are you going to do to keep your man happy? And he said, no, I'm serious. What are you going to do? And of course, people started shouting out. Women started shouting out. One shouted out, anal! And he went, yeah, up the butt. Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. Anything else? Like, you know, and he's asking the question and he's waiting for answers. Someone shouts, blowjobs, like, and he goes, all right, yeah, suck it and swallow it. Okay, yeah, all right. He says, isn't that amazing? I ask what you were going to do to keep your men happy. And not one of you said, get interested in his hobbies. Maybe as a gamer, you learn how to be a great gamer so that you can play with him, spend more time with him. He says, none of you said, I will learn how to be a fantastic cook so that I can feed him beautiful, wonderful meals and he'll never want to leave me because he's going to get great meals every day. No, he said, you all started saying about what you were going to do in bed. So if you think of yourself as just a bunch of holes to be filled, why should we think of you as anything else? And that got a huge round of laughter from the audience, mainly men laughing. The women were laughing as well, like, oh yeah, I get what you say. Because he said, if you lost your coochie, what would you do to keep your man happy? He didn't say, what would you do in bed to keep your man happy? Just what would you do to keep your man happy? And the women who were shouting out instantly went to, well, if I haven't got the coochie, I've got to give him a different hole. They never once thought to themselves, I will I will buy him a makeup car, something that he has to work on, and I'll learn mechanics and work next to him, and we'll build this car together. A kit car or a restoration car or something. I'll find out what interests him and become interested in that so that we can bond on a deeper level. Not one woman shouted any of that out. No, it was here and here. That's why he was such a great comedian, because he wasn't afraid to call out the BS. You women out there think that you're the prize, but when all you've got to offer is just that one small aspect of what men are looking for, that's all men are going to expect from you. And then the flip side of that, you start complaining that all men want from you is the one thing you're offering, because you're not coming with any deeper levels. You're no longer an onion where we peel back one layer and underneath is an even sweeter, better layer. Peel that and even sweeter until you get to the heart of that onion, which is super sweet, super tender, super soft. No, you come with one layer. You're more like a basketball. You open a basketball and that's all it is, full of air. You're one dimensional, one level, nothing else to offer. And then complain that all you're offering is all men are taking, and they're not asking for anything more, not asking to wife you up, have a relationship with you, settle down, have children with you, doing anything meaningful, anything that's going to be long term, because all you're offering is the coochie, the backside, the mouth, your body. And that's what Patrice O'Neill asked his audience. It was a very profound question, and the answer was even more profound. If you only think of yourself as these things, these holes to fill, why would a man think any better of you or ask any more from you? There are so few American comedians like Patrice O'Neill, excuse me, who are prepared to stand up in front of an audience and be filmed doing it, asking those type of questions. You've still got Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr, but they're both huge comedians. Nobody's uncancelable, but those two have got such a big following, and are so popular that it is nigh on impossible. They'd have to do something pretty darn horrendous for them to be cancelled. Luckily here in the UK we have hundreds of comedians like this who get up and they will talk about the most horrendous things. Nothing is off the table. And they are big stars. Some of them are international stars. And they're not afraid to cover these subjects because we don't have the culture here of trying to silence them. This channel is being choked by YouTube because I talk about some very uncomfortable subjects, and some subjects that need to be talked to my brothers about. I talk to you like you're a brother. I talk to you like we would if we were in a pub or at our home and we're having a drink together, just a coffee, catching up, and we start talking about this, that and everything. And I give you facts and statistics, and that's something else they don't like about this channel, is that the facts and statistics that I give to you brothers out there, you can all look up. You can see what I'm telling you is the truth. And that's the bit they don't like. If I was just kept saying, my opinion, my opinion, my opinion, they could poo-poo me. They could say, oh, it's just some silly man and his opinion. Oh, let him carry on. It's not going to affect anything. But when you give out facts and statistics and not saying, it's my opinion, this is the truth, all of a sudden it's uncomfortable for them, because now to attack me would have to attack the facts. And you can't do that. Facts are an uncomfortable thing. They don't change. Truth, again, is not very pretty. And that's why I make these videos, so that you get to see the truth and facts. And I appreciate your support so much. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you don't miss out. But I can see in my analytics that my channel is definitely getting choked. But I appreciate the brothers I have out there who are supporting me, and that's why I make these videos. So go and watch Patrice O'Neill. Like I say, it's very sad that he's no longer with us. A total loss to comedy. He was really good. His delivery was brilliant. But it's a shame there's no more, and there's not more comedians like him coming up through the ranks, because they get stopped, they get cancelled, they get shut down when they're only asking the same sort of thing. If you ladies don't see yourself as any more than a bunch of holes ready to be filled, why should we men think of you as anything less than a bunch of holes that we can fill? Anyway, let me know down in the comments down below what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go for a cup of tea because, to be honest with you, I think I've earned one. And you men out there, take care of yourself, because if you don't, who else will? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.